Yes. And the answer is Facebook and lots of the other Silicon Valley companies are going to have to keep raising the bar for what is okay on the platform. They don't want to do it. These are libertarians at their core. They just want to build a platform and not have to take any responsibility for how it's used and what people say. But it's just very clear they've built the most powerful media and communications platforms in history. They need to take more responsibility for that.
You look like you have something you want to say.
Yeah, so one question I have, so we both covered the internet for years and years and years, and one of the striking things is that consumers might say that they're concerned about data privacy, but they rarely alter their usage patterns based on that. And so the question I would have, based on what Henry just said, is will people's habits really change? If you look at Facebook's most recent earnings, their monthly active users continue to climb. You don't like Facebook, you could go use Instagram or WhatsApp, which Facebook also owns and has similar data policies for. I'm not sure I'm convinced that this will change things.
You know who cares? Tim Cook cares. He seems to care quite a bit. And it's interesting, this gutsy move from Facebook, basically saying, oh, this app isn't Facebook, it's an Avo, and it's to protect your privacy. And by the way, we're going to be watching everything that you download onto your phone and getting smarter because of that. I mean, Henry, what do you think this reveals about the dynamic between Apple and others versus maybe the Android platform and what developers are going to be able to get away with?
I think there are two issues here. One, let's talk about fake news, for example. I think Apple has actually gotten it right. You look at Apple News, they have a very wide group of contributors to Apple News, but it is Apple editors saying, you know what, you are a news organization of appropriate diligence, fact-based. We want you in our news app. We're making the choice and we're going to take responsibility for that. You then have other platforms who say, who are we to judge? And there is now this controversy that there's censorship of conservative views, and the companies are recoiling in horror at that. We need to draw a big distinction between taking stuff that is not fact-based, that is just pure make stuff up, that happens to be of a conservative view somewhat or other, and banning that from platforms, and actually saying, no, here are journalism companies that are fact-based and very diligent, but have a have a conservative point of view. So they have to make these decisions. And I would say that Apple's actually gotten this right. They've set a high bar.
I want to hear your thoughts on this, but it feels like it's a much broader and bigger animal over at Facebook when it comes to misinformation, and that they're sort of trying to do what Henry's talking about, but it's a run, it's a personality app. Do they have a handle on how broad it actually is?
I mean, they've clearly been late to getting a hold of this, and I don't think they still haven't. I think part of it, when you look at fake news specifically, is that they don't have the same conviction that Henry has and that Apple actually has, is that there is such a thing as a credible news organization, whether it's on the right or the left. Facebook, if you talk to Mark Zuckerberg, he sees every news organization as existing somewhere on a political spectrum from right to left, and is comfortable with putting organizations like the New York Times and other organizations that, at times are promoting hate speech on the same spectrum and letting the users make the choice. So, Henry rightly makes the point that Apple's decided there are credible news organizations across the political spectrum. We're going to provide a place for them. Facebook has not actually gone that far. I think that's a problem.
They're moving in that direction, to their credit. I just think they're going to have to move farther.